Hey, welcome back to the Musicians Talk Show, episode number 14. We have a special guest co-host today, but first, Matt Tolley, say hello.
Yes, hey everybody, how's it going?
And special guest, secret co-host, introduce yourself.
I'm Harry. Hello, dudes.
Harry Myree.
And now the secret's out.
The secret's, it's not secret anymore. Yeah, Harry Myree, successful YouTubist, successful drummist.
Absolutely.
Just a killer guy. Thanks for coming out.
Yes.
He came all the way here just to see us. So,
No joke.
yeah.
So good. So good. Love it. Glad
So
to have
Harry
you here.
actually is going to have to leave us about halfway through this episode, but we will let you know when that happens. Until then,
Let's get talking.
let's talk show. What you got, Matt? What's on your mind?
What is on my mind? Getting ready to record, so that's a lot on my mind. Maybe playing to a click.
And you've gone through the recording process before, right?
Yeah. We've done the 3-song EP that we did.
Oh yeah, with me. I
Yep,
should.
with you. Yeah. Duh. Come on, Dallas.
Harry, I have a question about playing to a click. At what point in your drumming would you say that became something that you focused on, or was it just natural for you?
I would say not yet is when.
Got it.
Oh no, it's an evolving relationship, but I think by the time I was in college, I had to start using a metronome to do like polyrhythms and stuff. You know what I mean? That's the wrong reason to get into a metronome. But another thing that helped is I played on this Disney Girls record and got fired from the record.
Who was the girl? Can you say?
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
Oh man, that's weird. I always claim to people that I'm an open book and that I'll talk about anything. And then as soon as
Some
you
things
ask me
you
that,
can't. Some things you just
You
can't.
don't want to do it
Like,
for the other person.
I just don't want to
Fine.
send any negative energy to
Exactly.
people that don't deserve it.
Right,
'Cause,
absolutely.
Like, it was
But
on.
playing to a click would have helped that situation, is what you're saying.
Is that the Can you tell us about what happened?
That might the click was part of it, but I just not being a spaz on the drums
Yeah.
is like a more important deal, you know. Like, so I just listened to some of y'all's demos, and my favorite thing about them was that everybody's top priority seems to be the song.
Mm-hmm.
When I was that age, everybody in the kind of groups I was playing in, everybody's top priority was their own parts.
Right. Yeah.
Me especially, man. I just wanted to play rad, tasteless drumming stuff.
It's easy to fall into that. It's
Yeah,
easy to fall
yeah.
into because it is impressive, when people can shred, and
Mhm.
it's impressive. It's easy to fall into the fact that, hey, I want to play music that people are impressed by. Right?
Yeah, man.
That
So-
impressiveness, if that's a word, stops at real quick though.
I agree.
If that's all you're doing, it's like, this guy sucks. You know,
Yes.
even if you're amazing,
Exactly.
if you can't
You can't put a song
groove,
together, what are you
especially as a
doing?
drummer, like,
Right,
that's your
right,
job.
Right.
Like
You're
you
the
are
heart of
the
the song.
you are the backbone of
Yeah.
the whole thing that
Yeah.
everyone leans on, and if
Absolutely.
you're not solid, like you're
Then
ice
that's-
skating at that
yeah.
point.
Certainly in a room like that, you know.
Oh yeah,
So to this day, I some of those songs they got placed on like a number of movies and TV shows and stuff. And sometimes I hear them and it reminds me to respect the metronome.
Yeah.
Is what you brought up. So
the session that you were fired from.
yeah. And now everything I do is on a click. So, but it feels like a marriage, Dallas. Like you don't just get to peak. You don't just get to optimum and then say, "Oh, I know how to play with a click now."
Right.
Like, you continue to or in my case, like I continue to evaluate that relationship and like make little adjustments to it.
That's something I've been working on a lot myself lately, because you get to a point where you can play to the click, but then you hear a bunch of people, not necessarily about your playing, but I hear this all the time about just playing to a click in general. It's too robotic. It's, it's like, well,
Right.
you need that framework, and then in that framework, you make it groove like a human,
Right.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Some of
That's
my
the
favorite
hard part.
players. That's one of those things that I know is like cool to say and like sounds mature when you say it, and so I always understood to like echo that sentiment because that's just kind of agreed upon among musicians who know what they're talking about. But it wasn't until kind of recently in life when I started, some of these bands I open for and stuff, I start listening to like their drummers mixes and hearing how like they relate to the click and realizing like how much control they have over time and groove. And there's, like you're saying, there's nothing robotic about it for them, man. Cause
right?
like,
Even though the click is there,
Yeah.
that's right.
they're able to groove and play behind, ahead, wherever.
Yeah.
Right.
But to be able to do that stuff, you have to have that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
true neutral control.
dude, exactly.
Yeah. You grow with the click. I think it's like you understand like what you're supposed to be doing. Like the click is just like your guide almost. Like it's not necessarily what you play. Every
Right,
note
right.
doesn't have to land on the beat. You know, it's
Right.
Like
Yeah. And it,
So that's
and it won't
interesting,
'cause
and
we're
that
human.
relationship I think is what you're talking about. Like that marriage, you grow, and it's like it's
And you
like
go on
a
dates,
different
you know,
relationship.
all kinds.
Dates, drinks,
He keeps rejecting me, the metronome. It was put to me this way once, Matt, and this is like,
Yeah.
this was my favorite way of phrasing it. Like, one of my favorite drummers told me, just think of that metronome like it's another dude in your band, and he's got better time than everybody on stage, and he's just like whacking a cowbell quarters all night. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
man.
like you're just trying to groove with that guy.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
dude, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, you do a lot of touring.
For sure.
Are you running? Are clicks being run for all these shows you do?
Absolutely. The reason, so now I occasionally see backlash about that on the internet or misunderstanding about it. And I find often, like in my case, the thing that is most overlooked about why we do that. Not that I feel insecure about playing to a click. I'm not like, ashamed of that or anything. But the main reason in our case is like we have lights and video walls and pyro that correspond to like
Sync,
certain parts
yeah.
of the song. And so like all this technology just needs to have a common point of reference.
Yep.
And then like the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's no
Dallas
debate.
definitely knows what you're saying because he had the
I
Tribute- the Journey
created
tribute.
the
Yep.
Journey tribute show. We had everything on click because we were running videos with
Yeah. And
sometimes
even the
lyrics
Kemper.
behind us.
even
And,
the Kemper was
my Kemper
changed,
was
yeah.
my guitar changes were on it, so I didn't
Everything
have to have a
could be
pedal board or
on the
anything.
click, which is super. Just
Yeah.
forget
The-
like set and forget kind of thing.
I think the coolest thing we probably did is I took the Faithfully music video, and
Yeah.
I I threw like hundreds of cuts throughout the video, like easing 1% slower, 1% faster. I synced it to the tempo that we played it at because they
Wow.
didn't record that album with click,
Oh, right.
so it's all over the place.
yeah, huh?
So I synced the video to our click with like imperceptible
Yeah.
video
That's
speeds
awesome.
up and slow down. So when we played the song, the video was behind us, like
And
synced
you
up the
have to
way
slow the
people
video down
always.
just a little bit to make it match the click. Then you
Sometimes,
did.
you'd have to slow it up or speed it up, but it
Right,
was
right.
never more than like 3%. So
Right. That's cool.
that was a
Never
really
thought
cool
about
thing.
that,
And
yeah.
you can't do that without the click because then it's just
And you can have the
Doesn't
lights
work.
and everything all just on one. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed, man. There are magical possibilities. I have some friends
Technology.
who play with Taylor Swift, and one thing that they do is instead of having any of their guitar pedals on stage, they basically write instructions during production
Mhm.
to
Somebody to
what
push.
changes they want there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're Kempers or whatever, because
Right.
I don't understand any of that stuff, but like they basically write those instructions into the time code.
Mhm.
And so
Yep.
if you want this really mellow sound for the whole verse, you can run out on the catwalk and the chorus hits, and now
Oh,
you
yeah.
need a
Yeah, you don't have to run
chorus.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason I wrote that into the Journey stuff is because there are so many switches and so many like times where Neil Sean, the part I was playing, will jump up to lead for like one little thing. So I could have my pedal be rhythm and then jump up for half a bar to my lead tone and back down. I couldn't do that with my feet.
Right. It would take.
And at the same time sing
Coordination.
and at the same time engage
Yeah.
the crowd and at the same time have clicks. It's way too much. So
Yeah.
I was basically doing it to just take
Yeah.
stuff off
Make yourself
myself
a better
'cause it was
performer.
just-
You don't have to worry about the stomp and tap.
it would have
tap
been
dancing.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not.
I also just don't like pedals. That's just something about me. I just
I
don't
agree.
like,
I agree.
tap.
I have a pedal board, but I do hate the tap dance that you have to do around
and it's
it.
just too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
There's always a dead cable or something, you know.
Yep.
Harry, how many pedals do you use on your drum kit?
1, 2, 3.
You'd be like Rick Allen from Def Leppard. And he has like 16 foot
Well,
pedals down there.
I have a pedal up there for my talkback, which there's a
little bit of coordination.
a learning curve
Yeah.
to understanding like the drumming you're doing and all like and cueing into one of those talkbacks, which is by default muted unless I hold the button with my left foot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to call audibles sometimes.
Right. Oh, so you're in charge of that stuff in the back.
Like,
Give us an example of when you would need to. And wait, let me get this straight. You talk into the mic and it goes to the musician's ears.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
But
you're
not
not
into
you're
the
not
crowd.
communicating with front of
Right,
house.
right.
I know it's not going to the crowd, but
Right.
you're
Yeah,
not
there's
talking
all-
to the front of house or anything.
Those guys can. I mean, front of house, no, because he's listening to front of house. But we have guys in front of house who hear
can hear.
what's going on
Okay.
on our closed IEM circuit.
You're the only one with the talkback.
We have one on stage. We have one permanently where I am. There's one at the monitor board too.
Okay, cool. So now, what would you use that for?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of a great example. I have some funny stories of like talkback's gone wrong. I don't
Out
know.
to the crowd.
I don't know if now's the right. Is now
This crowd blows.
No, any time is the right time.
200,000 watts.
well, you know it's happening.
And you just see Harry. This crowd sucks. Fuck you, Oklahoma. It's just like, oh no.
I'm sure
What
it's
city are we in
happening.
again? Like over the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yes. Okay. So that is
That's a
actually-
real one.
Thank you, Matt, for bringing that up. In country music, radio is God. You know what I mean? You live
Right.
and die by radio. And
Yeah.
every city you play has at least one country station, probably two. And they all have these abstruse combinations of letters.
Yeah.
And they have
KXRY.
the frog.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They all have like an animal mascot
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like it gets to be like Groundhog Day a little. No human brain is going to retain.
Oh no.
You can't retain everything.
50 of those. And so one thing you use the talkback, for example, is
To reiterate that.
there's a part of the show where they tell this story about radio and thank people, and the at the last second before they say, and we just want to thank WKOR the frog and WKOD the dog or whatever, like
Right.
the last thing. God, I'm thinking about all this hilarious talkback stuff now. The last thing they hear in their ears before they say that is WKOR the dog. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're cute on it. And this is the
And that's
artist
your job, or
saying
that's
this?
not your. That's you. You hear it as well.
a lot of times
probably
the
the
MD
monitor
will
guy.
do that.
Okay.
If I have to, I really try not to chime in. Some bands like get up there and just crack jokes all night. And
Yeah.
I really like
That's hilarious. I love that. I've had that
Nashville
done before.
musicians tend to more be like employees and less like band members. So like you really should only get on the talkback for functional reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
And the artist might get on to just like
Oh, yeah.
choose somebody out. I have hilarious recordings of that too, like of this is more like not naming names territory, but like very early on one certain gig I was recording my monitor feed every night so I could get in my bunk and listen to how I did and what needs improving.
Right.
And so I was recording my feed every night, and I have these fucking hilarious recordings of these guys just chewing people out
Wow.
into just calling motherfuckers out and
The like singers
right, yeah.
calling the band out.
Yeah, so in the situation I'm thinking of, we were playing, it was kind of a transitional period for this act, and so some of the old bookings lingered sandwiched in between some of the new, bigger bookings, you know what I mean? And so we were playing in a place that was like not quite a concert hall, basically like a massive bar with a big enough stage for like most of the production, but not enough electrical to support certain circuits of our lighting rig.
Mhm.
And so they just have like a house lighting lady that had worked there
no.
since the 70s. And, you know, this is her place, man. So she's really confident about it. And during sound check, the artist is kind of looking around at the lighting, trying to envision that. And she goes, "Don't worry, I got you. I've been running lights here since 1978. And I have this recording on my phone. I'll play it for you after we turn the recording off. Three songs in, like the lights are sometimes on, sometimes not, but they're giving this whole heartfelt speech between songs. But it's just pitch black on stage.
Oh,
Who knows
no.
what the fuck this lady is? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so I have this. This is my first gig with this act, and so I have this hilarious recording of singer up front, into front of house, trying to give this heartfelt speech and kind of making jokes like, "Hey, maybe a little light up here, maybe," and then blowing through the monitor feed, you hear, "So much for running lights since 1970 fucking 8. Fuck you!" Like,
That's great.
blasting,
That's
man.
great. Don't worry, I got you covered.
Oh, so that's through the talkback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
That's
But there's-
great.
So the talkbacks, I assume, are pretty loud in the mix. You can hear.
Oh
them
yeah,
cut through.
yeah. You want whatever comes down those lines. You want to hear that.
You gotta hear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cueing you. So yeah.
In my case, it might be if let's say lead singer is way down the catwalk. You know those big like sort of
Oh, yeah,
runways
for sure.
that extend
Yeah.
like into the stadium or whatever, and we're in the solo, and he's out there like in some maybe leans down and grabs some audience member or something, and then they end up doing more of an interaction. She wants him to sign a big poster that she made, or
So you call an audible and say extend the solo.
I
Yeah.
go, we're looping this solo, so that people don't make the change too soon. I can tell Ableton to
Oh, cool.
basically.
I
bump
wondered that. Yeah, if you wanted to extend a part, you can do
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can bump back like 16 bars if you need to.
Nice.
So you can just go back
Yeah.
to where. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
man.
cool.
Yeah,
So calling audibles with a click, that's a really interesting thing.
dude, the robots are
Like
taking
some-
over.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Technology.
I have a funny in-ear story that I've probably told on the show, but I don't know if I've ever told Harry. We were playing some theater. It was the Journey tribute, and we have the pre-show music playing up there on the board. We're working with a sound guy that's not a good sound guy, and the board we're using has scenes that save, different settings and stuff, and you switch between them between the two acts we had. And so the talkback music was playing, and we muted it, or he muted it, and then when we switched scenes, it unmuted in our ears. So we were coming out, and the song we have to play is Stone in Love.
Yeah.
And I hear Stone in Love. In my ears, we have cues and click and all that stuff. Stone in Love, start 2, 3, 4. And then Marshall Tucker Band's Can't You See is straight up just like, can't you see? And I'm hearing like polyrhythm click against this song, and I'm trying to get through the intro, and I turn around and look at our drummer, and I'm like, pull him out.
Oh,
So we struggled really hard there.
that's
But that
a
was
tough one.
it was a rough start, but we got
tough
through it.
scenario to be in right there.
It was hilarious, dude. Like even in the moment, it was like, this is ridiculous.
It's hard to even think of another song while you're listening to another song.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you've definitely been there where we're sitting around or trying to think of some song and how it goes, and there's
Yeah.
another song on, and that's all you can take in. This is like this other
Yeah.
song is on.
I want to hear more of Harry's road stories.
Oh, just like talk back.
Need a whole podcast on Harry's road stories. You can just call it that.
Have I told you the Onion Festival story?
I don't think so.
Just while we're on the subject of talkbacks, I mean, you can ask me. We can go anywhere you want. But
Anywhere, yeah.
The one that came to mind when we were talking about in-ears was like pretty early on in my career of doing stuff like that, and we were doing this Onion Festival in California. And festivals are like, they're pretty throw and go, as they say. Like the changeovers are pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, between bands and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like you don't have like a luxurious amount of time to make sure everything's hooked up right. You just kind of do your best, and like you don't get a sound check or anything. So like we just go up there and start our first song, and it started with like this kind of vocal intro that's supposed to be beautiful. And lead singer goes up to try it, and the second his face gets to the mic, it feedback.
Oh man.
So it's like a middle school like assembly.
Yeah, that sound they overdub in movies to
hey,
indicate
we're
crappy sound
Yeah,
systems.
We're blah, blah,
exactly.
blah.
Yeah, they do that, dude. It's so funny.
And so, all right, so we abort, and he, we kind of look out at the, all right, you got it now? Okay, we got it. And he leans in again. And let me think of how this went down. Yeah, so finally, we wait awkwardly on stage while they try and work this out. And finally, I think after enough silence, I remember hearing like overwhelming booing right before we were about, like, geez, man, these guys are really, really agitated with us. I didn't have much of an opinion. I wasn't the band leader. I didn't have a talk back on this gig. And we attempt to start the song again, and it goes through, and it sounds great. And we got this roar, like, at the same time of, like, it was this combination of, like, booing and ironic, like, yay, finally, kind of. And our MD was, like, kind of fed up, and he leans in really close to the talkback, and he goes, "Fuck you, motherfuckers. You don't know what it's like up here." And that's when, like, the whole crowd went, like, boo,
Right.
just, like, resounding boo. And, like, I still, even telling this story, this, like, poisonous adrenaline is going, I feel up my spine of, like,
yeah.
oh,
Wave of
we are
shame
never coming
almost.
back to the state
Yeah.
of California ever again.
Yep.
But it turned out that, like, some fight had broken out, and some guy was trying to
okay.
hit a girl or something. So no one was even
So it's
paying
nothing-
attention
oh, man.
to anything we were doing. It was just some guy being like a douche in the audience, and it was
Oh,
like
that's the worst.
this feeling of like, oh,
Yeah, when you're on
what
stage,
a
you just
relief.
have to think that every reaction from the crowd is
Oh,
you,
yeah.
and then it's just, that would be a weird scenario.
Oh yeah.
That's
The
very
worst is when you're
interesting.
playing and you see someone like nut like right in front of you. You probably didn't happen. You're way in the back, right? But you see someone nudge, like look at you, and then like laugh.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
fuck, what did I do
Exactly.
wrong?
What is
Like,
that? What are they laughing at? Right.
It's probably
Dude,
nothing. But
That is so true. Like, folks in the audience, I don't think, especially in big rooms, when you watch them, you get the sense that like they don't think that you can see them.
Right.
You know what I'm talking
Right.
about?
Yeah.
There is
You
that
see
thing.
people do some really funny shit. You're looking right at them.
You know,
Yeah,
you know what's
you're
funny? Yeah, same thing Dave Chappelle talks about in his stand-up where he's like, you guys don't know this, but when I'm standing up here, I'm just looking at a bunch of you guys up there going, like it's like, and I know that's weird for you guys to even think about, but that's what I'm looking out at. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Leave it to Dave
Well,
Chappelle.
because I think there's 6 pairs of eyes on stage or however many, and 20,000 people in the seats.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, they couldn't possibly be looking at me.
Right.
He's looking at the person next to him.
Right. Yeah.
Dude,
No, I'm looking at you.
exactly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You. Yeah, you. That's like it's that classic
Yeah.
frontman. You. Yeah, you.
Yeah, you. It's like
Totally.
me. Yeah, you.
Yeah, exactly.
Me? Yeah, you.
There's 20,000 of us about here
Yeah.
just pointing at me.
What else you got, Harry? I'm pumped.
Well, you talking about road stories?
Absolutely. While we still have you here,
Give me a category.
what are my options?
The jeopardy of road
I
stories.
know. It had like the best road stories.
Embarrassment.
Bum
Embarrassment.
cover.
Embarrassment's my
I've been
category.
so embarrassed. I did my first Ask Me Anything on Reddit earlier this year, and somehow, oh wow, yeah, now they're flooding in. Like, somebody asked me like my worst moment on stage, and I told this story of like when I was 15 playing at this school function. I got so riled up that, you see like Foo Fighters play a concert. Taylor Hawkins throws his drumstick into the crowd, and it's
Oh.
badass and awesome.
Yeah.
And I was so amped up at the end of this song that I just threw my drumsticks into the crowd. Not tossed, but they were like weapons. I was just so worked up. And like one drumstick kind of innocuously flew off to the side, and the other like went right into the eyeball of like the token giant guy in our high school. They called him Stump, and he was like
That's
literally
hilarious.
7 feet tall. And I have footage of this. I ended up putting it up on Reddit in this thread. If anybody listening wants to go look this up.
I do. I want to see it right now.
He did not hesitate at all. Blood is like dripping from his eye. He just ran right up on stage and leveled me to the floor.
What?
And it sounds like he beat my ass to the ground. And and like everybody's watching. The
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
school is like watching this go down. And the funniest thing is that what I posted on Reddit is a GIF, so you can't hear
Yeah.
the sound.
Yeah.
But in the home video that I have of it, some camcorder footage, all fucking 500 people go, oh! You can hear like my skull crack a little bit when
Jeez.
I hit the.
Jeez, man.
hit
Well,
the
I
floor.
guess you learned at that point that you don't throw your drumstick at the crowd.
That
You
was
throw it
so
to
dumb.
the crowd.
I deserved that. So
Hey, when you're young and you just think, you're especially when you're amped up, your adrenaline's flowing, like that's the kind of stuff that you make like little dumb decisions and then you just like, you have to live with it.
oh yeah,
It's crazy though, man.
yeah. I was 15.
That sounds like a crazy story. I really want to see that GIF
I know.
now.
We gotta watch that.
Yeah,
We gotta post that on the site.
That'd be really good, actually.
Search, yeah, post it. I mean, search my name, Reddit AMA or whatever, and I
How
think
old would you say you were?
15.
Okay.
That was October 2003. Okay.
Now we know how old you are.
Yeah, I was born in '88,
Wait, when's your birthday?
July 4.
July 4th?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm not
That
afraid of
is
you guys
awesome.
stealing my identity.
Mr.
'cause-
Freedom.
What's that?
Mr. Freedom.
Right. Yeah, all that meant to me is that everybody was like on vacation at the beach when I was
Yeah,
a
you
kid.
never-
and
you never
it was
had
my
that.
birthday.
Mine's December 9th, so everyone's, kind of Christmas break, exam
Right on.
time.
I feel you. I'm glad to be alive. I don't know why I'm complaining about when I was born. That's a
Yeah.
very nitpicky thing.
Yeah.
The other embarrassing moment on stage that I remember.
Wait, so you're
is-
about to turn 30.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm on the
Cool.
precipice here.
Congrats.
I'm
Not everyone makes it.
getting old and lazy. One of y'all was asking me if I even tie my shoes anymore, and I don't.
That was me. Yeah, he walks around with
You never
his
know.
old beat up Converse, which last forever. Gotta love them.
Yeah.
But he has them like super, super loose and not tied at all. So the strings are like
You never
3
know
feet
when you have
behind
to
it.
get those shoes off real quick. You never know.
Yeah.
When you're a drummer in a,
I
in
feel
a
like if you
successful
just
band.
jumped in the air, you would just leap right out of them.
Leave your shoes.
Like a cartoon, just leave them behind.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
What else you got in the last couple minutes here before we have to leave you forever?
All right, I'll give you one more. I played for an artist who was doing the NACA like college circuit for a while. Are you guys
Oh,
hip
nice.
to this?
Yeah.
This is kind of what you do before you have people that would show up like kind of on their own volition to your shows. You basically play college shows for money,
Yep.
where like there's some freshman welcome to campus event with some random band you've never heard of. Like NACA kind of books all this for you, and that's how you cut your teeth on the road and all that. So I was playing for a NACA artist, and the funny thing about doing that circuit is sometimes, man, I'm going to condense this story because I got to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes you play in these really nice, well-maintained college facilities with like faculty who know what they're doing, running the shit. And sometimes you play in like the corner of a cafeteria at like 3 p.m. when none of the lunch people are there anymore and none of the dinner people are there yet. And a lot of times there's a mix between the two. So we were playing in this quad in like Carbondale, Illinois at some college, you know what I'm saying? And instead of putting us on a stage, they put us on these grandiose steps of like a library or something, you know what I'm saying? One of these college buildings. And so like there's no lighting truss in front of a building like that. So they just put, I'm telling this story in the wrong order, but I mean, just hang on to that thought. Okay. We get there in daylight. We sound check. They set up all the sound and all that. All that sounded pretty good. Facing out into the quad, the doors to the library are like behind us. 3 big sets of double doors. You know what I mean? One of these big college-y buildings. And we finished sound checking. They said, go in the doors right behind you, and that's essentially your green room, the lobby of this library. We'll feed you in there. Just wait in there until the MC announces you, and then come back out on stage. Say great. So we're sitting in the foyer of this library. They're feeding us sandwiches or whatever you get fed of these things, and the sun goes down. Meanwhile, I didn't really think about how we were going to deal with getting lit on stage, and nobody said anything to any of us. And we sit back there until the MC goes, "You guys ready to go on?" We say, "Yeah, we're ready." I grab my drumsticks and I get right by the center double doors because basically I can just walk right into my drum set that way. And I can tell there's a big crowd out there and they're buzzing, and we can hear the MC kind of mumbled through this big elaborate wall. We're gonna make a huge entrance. She goes, "Ladies and gentlemen," I don't mind saying this guy's name, "Sam Lee." And like a badass who learned nothing from when I was 15 and threw a drumstick into the giant's eye, I just kicked the double doors open. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Lee. And I guess like after sound check, these college kids, like they set up Walmart lights on these like tripods, these plastic tripods way up there, you know what I'm saying? Like that are 20 feet tall or something. So they're on these really unbalanced, like dinky plastic tripods, and they just put them all over the stage. How else are you going to see us without a lighting truss? So, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Lee. I kick open and lights just collapse. I fucking knocked over at least 3 lighting tripods, which in turn knocked over other lighting tripods. So like effect. Sam Lee and the entire stage collapsed, and it was a big crowd. And the reason I remember that is because I could not fucking believe how quiet it got after the solid 25 seconds of commotion.
How'd you recover?
Dude, we laughed. I mean, we just guttural laughter.
What else do you do?
It took a minute to start that first song because, like,
so every like crowd and everything.
Those first 3 songs were so wonky because I just couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
Even as I tell the story now, I'm like, what the fuck? The people
so
in the crowd make of that? Like,
I just have this funny image of them saying Sam Lee, and they kick the door open and it's Harry. And they're like, wait, and then you go and sit down at the drums. Like, oh, that's not him.
All the lights fall over at the same time.
Man, if only it could have been that simple.
That's hilarious.
All right, well, Harry, looks like you got to go.
All right, brother.
But
it was awesome.
I'm gonna press
time with you, man.
I'm gonna press pause while we see Mr. Myrie off, and we will return shortly.
Peace.
All right, we're back. Harry has left us.
He's left the building.
We're extremely sad.
Yeah, it was so much fun hanging out, though.
It's nice. We're doing this. I don't know if we said this. We're doing this live together in person.
Yep.
In your rehearsal space in Charlotte.
Yeah. Feels comfortable. It's been fun.
It does. Yeah, I love it. I mean, thoughts on Harry before we move into the
you guys jammed for a little bit. That was really cool.
Yeah, Harry and I jammed. You got some video. I want you to send that to me.
Definitely going to probably put that out. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to put it up on the Insta.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really fun, man.
Great time. I mean, he came all the way out here. He lives in Nashville.
Yeah.
If we didn't say that.
He's got Picky Burger selection.
Pinky Burger. Oh yeah. Okay, so we went to Pinky's for lunch,
so funny.
Which is a famous burger place in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I swear to God,
he made the waitress wait. He take his order.
I mean, I'm trying to be realistic here. 5 minutes.
I was
order his burger.
I was going to say more, but it was very funny.
Let's say 5 to 6 minutes of actual, I want this, but no ranch. But could we do everything? Let's take it back to the top. Can we do the burger with cheese.
She was, and you know what? She was kind of on it too. She was the same way. She was like,
Yeah.
you know, like, oh, I think we should start over or whatever. And
Yeah.
and then
Well,
they
he kept
start-
deferring to her.
Right,
Like,
right,
what do you
right.
think's good? And she was like, okay, all right, here's what we're gonna do. So like the two of them
Very funny.
got it. I
Very
guess.
funny.
And then we got a picture of it. By the time it got there, it was like the size of your head.
yeah, exactly. It's a huge burger.
I'm
I
not
got
saying you have a
picture.
big head. I'm saying this burger was the size
It's a
of
big
human
burger.
head.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That was very fun.
Pinky's delicious, by the way.
Yeah, great place.
Great place. And like 3 minutes from here.
Yep,
So-
perfect.
But we're back. We are glad we had Harry join us. That was amazing. Let's move on. What do we got here today? Carolina Rebellion. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
let's
it. It
talk about
happened
that.
this past. Well, it's Saturday now. It happened last weekend.
Yeah, so it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday festival. The Friday.
You were sending me pictures of Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, video too.
Video,
not just
yeah,
pictures.
sorry.
And yeah, Greta Van Fleet killed it. They were awesome.
They sounded amazing.
And I loved like being in the festival crowd. Watching
Right.
people react to it because there's
Right.
some people for the first time seeing Greta Van Fleet, they're like, "Whoa!" You know, like,
Yeah,
and you
these guys are
definitely get
good.
that Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin, and people are like, "This is like," I definitely heard somebody say, "This is like old school," and I was like, "By old school, you mean it sounds like Led Zeppelin?" It's
Yeah,
basically what you're
yeah.
saying, but yes, that. But
Yeah.
I loved watching people like react to it, and
It's interesting that you say that. Over watching them, you were having more fun watching the people.
I
around
was.
you, you
Well, I know
what
their music, and I was
Yeah.
watching them. I was paying attention to their, you know, how they were playing and everything. But at the same time, like you being immersed in a
was a
giant
little-
crowd like that, you
Yeah.
pick up on everybody else around you.
I told you this. Their sound was phenomenal.
Yes.
I was a little let down by their stage presence.
Yeah, they
There
don't
was
utilize a lot of
there
the
was
stage
a-
space. They
How
don't-
big would you say that stage was? 80,
huge,
100 feet?
Huge, yes, big enough for the headlining acts. They were
Sure.
all on the same stage.
So, I mean, this is an Ozzy Osbourne
Yeah,
size
yeah.
freaking stage.
Yeah.
And they were in a space smaller than the room we're in now, which
Yeah.
is not very big. And
Yeah.
they were not moving outside of it. It was like someone had put them in a pen
yeah.
and they weren't really moving amongst themselves, which I get. That's kind of part
they're
of their
like
thing.
they're bobbing their, you know, they bob their body, kind
It's
of do
kinda
that
part of
thing,
their
but
thing,
they don't
yeah.
they don't run around. They don't do a lot of the
Maybe that's just their thing. I don't know.
showman type entertainment moves. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It seemed to me, and I know this is accurate on some level, they're used to playing smaller places.
Yeah,
And they got to this
definitely.
huge stage, and it's probably one of their first times doing
Right,
something like
right.
this.
And they're young. They're
They're
they're so
really
young.
They're
so
younger
it's
than
like-
us.
But I'm sure they played some big stages.
I'm sure they played
but-
some amazing shows.
But they're not at the level yet where they've got that show down at least.
Right.
So
They-
they'll get it. I know they'll get it. Of
Yeah,
course,
for
but
sure. We'll see.
we'll see.
They can't break up because they're all brothers and one like family
they're-
friends. So
they're
like,
gonna be. That's the cool thing. Is it's so pure what they're doing. It's like it's so for the
it's-
love of
yeah.
music.
and they
so
seem
say
like
what you
such
want.
nice, cool guys.
They do. They seem like genuine people. So that's great. And they were
Amazing.
great. And everybody who I saw around me loved it. Like there's nobody that was like,
That makes me happy.
yeah, exactly. I was waiting for the it's just Led Zeppelin. I was just waiting for that. You know what I mean? But I didn't get any of that. Which I'm glad.
Again, though, we are musicians,
Yeah.
so we draw that line.
Yes.
They're going to draw the line to that sounds like something I've heard.
Yeah, but they don't
That's
know
as far as it
exactly, right?
goes.
They're not going to nail it down,
Right.
right? So that's the thing. But it's
Maybe
great.
someone will, if you're a huge Zeppelin fan, and
Yeah.
But if you're just a casual music fan,
But if music makes you feel good, like what other does it have to do? Like
That's
you
it.
know,
You
there's
don't have to
not-
go further than that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're done. You did it.
We've
It's
talked
good.
about this before, and it's great. It's like we love Greta Van
Absolutely.
Fleet. They
who
killed
else?
it.
Who else did you see?
Well, I almost saw the Bronx, which is one of my
Almost saw the
favorite
Bronx.
punk bands from LA.
Okay. I don't know the Bronx, but I am intrigued by what almost.
They're a
saw
little
meant.
known. They're a little known band, and I actually had to work, so I rushed there. Literally, like I had a half an hour to get to the show.
So you missed their set.
I missed basically the entire set. I caught the last half song of their set. Sorry.
Oh
Their
well,
set
that's not bad.
altogether
That's
was
probably the
half
biggest
an
one, right?
It was History Strangler, which is it's a great one. It's a banger for sure, but it's not. I wanted to hear the new record a lot.
Oh,
Like that was
okay.
one of the biggest things for me. But so, anyways, I ended up running 2 miles through the parking lot because Carolina Rebellion
amazing.
parking, unbelievable. Like it's miles and miles of parking, and for some reason, both times I went Saturday and Sunday. Sunday was this time of the Bronx, but both times I had to park all the way, literally as far as you could be from the stage.
Oh no!
And so I'm getting there late, and I'm like, here they go again. They're funneling me into this back section of the parking lot where I'm gonna have to like trek 2 miles to get to the concert. You know what I mean? I already
Should've
know they
brought a bike.
started. I should have, man. I
like
should
a
have brought
disposable
something,
bike,
man.
so you can just like jump off of it. Keep running.
I jogged 2 miles, literally watching people drive by me in golf carts, and I yelled to them. I was like, "Hey, can you give me a ride?" "No, man, sorry, I can't do it." And I'm like, I guess I'm running this whole thing. So I ran the
That's
entire way.
so
So I'm
funny.
out of breath, walking up, and I have the footage because I turned my camera on just in time to
Yeah.
like catch the last half of their song. and I'm out of breath, like trying to video this last half of the song or
It
whatever.
was like
and
up
it's
and
like,
down.
and then as soon as it was over, and they were like, "Thank you, see you, Carolina Rebellion." You know, when they said that or whatever, I was just like, I just
that
ran
sucks.
2 miles to see the last 30 seconds.
You could have
of-
walked and missed it.
Yeah,
and been
exactly.
Because
I almost would have rathered that, dude. I almost.
Because as soon as you
'Cause I
got
was
there,
miserable.
you got 30 seconds of
Yeah.
music, and then they said thank you, and then you sat there for 20 minutes while they
for the
changed
next,
bands.
yeah, for the next band, yeah. And they had the different stage setup, so it was quick or whatever. But it was, yeah, I know what you mean. That's and the
I,
thing about the
I will
Rebellion.
go on the record. I'm not a fan of music festivals myself.
Yeah, because they are not for the. I don't think they're as much for the consumer, man. I think what the idea is that you get a lot of bands, a lot of different bands, and a lot of different things. So the people will show up, you know, whether it be just for their one band or whatever, they show up, right? So that's
Yeah.
the thing. If you can get all these different fans in for these different bands, and you're going to get more people in. So it's not necessarily set up.
There's a lot of people. How many people were there? Do you know roughly? 80,000.
Yeah,
I think it was somewhere in the 80s.
It's hard to tell because it was like so spread out. You know what I mean? It's like really hard. It wasn't like a condensed group
I
of
gotcha.
people. There's three main stages, and then everybody was just kind of tracking back and forth. And then there's the bathroom line. Like you can go
Oh,
over to
God.
just go over to the Porta John section and see how many people were over there. You're just like, well, however many people I count in the crowd, there's another 10% that are just at the bathroom. You know?
Jesus.
So it's just.
Have you ever
people
seen that
everywhere.
AC/DC live at Castle Donington DVD? I think there were.
I probably
think there
have.
were over 100,000 at that.
I
time.
probably have. I think I actually have that on DVD. It depends which,
Yeah,
which
I did
live
for a
it is.
while.
Is it Donington? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think
yeah, I
it's
do have
called
that one
Live
on
at Castle
DVD. I
Donington.
do. I have a box set. Comes with a couple albums and a DVD.
There's also a CD of it. Yeah,
Yeah. So also,
that was I think 100,000+ people, and it's
that's
and they're all in one place.
crazy.
It looks
Those European
There's
festivals.
helicopters filming, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Pantera played that
They
same festival. I
they
think.
don't call it Donington anymore. They call it Download.
Oh, that's right. It's download now. Yeah.
Yep.
So amongst other bands that I saw that were there that were great, saw Mutoid Man, which was really cool. They played they did a cover of Hot for Teacher
Nice.
with the
we did that in
guitar player.
Osara and won a Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'll show you the footage. Unfortunately, it was not the best cover I heard, but the
Oh, no.
guitar player from Baroness, right? Am I getting that? I hope that's right. I think that's right. Female guitar player came up and did the lead guitar stuff, and it was cool.
For the solo or the intro or both?
All of it.
Okay.
She was the. I guess she's probably the one who wanted to do Hot for Teacher, but I'll show you the footage later, and we can talk
Who's
about it.
who's the band? What's the band again?
Mutoid Man, and then the
Mutoid Man.
Baroness guitar player.
Okay, so why was that?
Just they were at the same festival and they knew each other probably, so they were like, hey, let's get together and do Hot for Teacher. And it was cool. It
in
was.
your opinion, based on Mutoid Man's music, do you think their guitar player could cut some Van Halen, or were they kind of simple?
I would say no. I would say no, and I would say that
That's
even,
what would.
even the Baroness guitar player that's not her thing. I would say no, seriously. Like I know it's kind of funny, but like when you listen to it, it's like she just came up with that idea and then decided like I know that riff, and then once you got into it,
Did
it was
you know
like
that riff?
yeah, did you really? That's kind of what it felt like.
That's funny.
So, who
yeah,
knows?
no, it's not an easy song at all.
No, not
There's
at
some
all.
advanced parts in that.
I don't
thing.
know. So that was
And
interesting.
the intro is, it takes some big hands. It's
Yes,
you're
the
stretching from
stretches
fret
are
3
very
to 7,
big.
and then you're tapping
Yep.
12. So
Yep.
for you guitar
That's
players,
a tough
there you go.
intro. And then the riff is cool. It's just
Once
like
you
that.
get it though, it's
fun. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun to play. Yeah.
So yeah, Mutual Man was good. And then the very last thing I'll say that I really enjoyed was Queens of the Stone Age.
they were the headliner on.
They were not the headliner. Muse was the headliner.
Muse
They were
was Saturday,
second.
right?
Yeah. So no. Muse was Sunday
Muse
too.
Sunday. Who was Saturday?
Saturday was maybe Alice in Chains, or was that Friday?
I think Change was Friday.
Friday. Okay, so I'm not sure who was Saturday because I did
you
not
stay for the
stay.
headliner?
No.
Okay. Did you stay for Muse?
No, I did not stay for Muse either. Unfortunately, I do like them as a band. It was a long day. I was in
You
the
were just ready
sun
to roll.
all day. I had
Yeah.
work that day. This is one of those things. Like I would have stayed normally to see Muse, but I was there to see Queens of the Stone Age, the Bronx and Queens of the Stone Age, and they knocked it out of the park. And I was just like, I could go see Muse right now, but I'm really satisfied after seeing Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
They really killed it.
And you got to ditch all the traffic.
I got what?
You got to ditch all the traffic.
Yes,
least
it
most
was
of it.
very helpful to ditch the traffic, and being in that parking spot that I was telling you
yeah.
about.
You were first one out.
Really allows you to get out of there quick, so it was really nice. But
That's the best part. That's when
Yes.
you want to be on the farthest
you have to
spot.
still walk 2 miles to get to your car, and then get
That's all right. As
First
soon as
out.
you get to it, you're gone.
You're gone. Literally pulled right out into the street. So
You'll be gone way faster than the person at the very front who only had to walk 100 feet.
Yes.
It's actually probably evens out.
exactly.
So, Carolina Rebellion music festivals, man.
Fun
We got to
stuff.
talk about music festivals some other time.
Yeah. We need to go to more.
I saw something online. I don't remember where or what or whatever, but the quote was, "Only one in a museum, a mazillion. Only one in a million. I combine million and musicians. Musilian. Only 1 in a million musicians make a living at it." And I was thinking, like, no, like I'm certainly not 1 in a million.
Right. That's true. Because
that means there would only be 300 professional musicians in America, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen. Right. The thing is that it's not 1 in a million musicians make a living at it. That what the thing is 1 in a million musicians probably are successful. Like
I wouldn't say that. I think what they think is 1 in a million musicians are Lady Gaga. And again,
well, right. That's what I mean. Like at a massive
that's what this
success.
person's thinking. Because again, they don't understand the middle class musician.
Right.
They don't understand the 12 other people on stage around Justin Timberlake and those guys. Like,
and that's hard to get unless
that's a professional musician.
Yeah.
And the guy who owns a teaching studio, that's a professional musician.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, the guy that plays music at church that you don't go to and never see, that's a professional musician.
Yeah, and that's making a living at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's, I just saw that thing and it bugged me, and I know everyone knows that's my soapbox. So.
Yeah, no, but that's a good point though. Is like that professional musician. It's not fair to just pinpoint like Lady Gaga and say she's a professional musician, but the drummer's not. Like,
but yeah, well, it's not that they. Okay, if you ask them, is Lady Gaga a professional musician? Everyone says yes.
Yeah.
If you ask them, is the drummer? Everyone says yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, they don't think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
They only see Lady Gaga because the drummers and all that stuff are in the back. You know, most of the time in darkness.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, only 1 in a million because that's the one I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's not that many. Well, I can count on one hand. We got Justin Timberlake. We got Lady Gaga. We got
all the people that I like.
It's like, well, yeah, but there's so much more.
There's so many more.
The reason I want to keep bringing this up is if you listen to this podcast, you know, start doing your best to kind of change the zeitgeist.
Yes.
Like, let's
give appreciation to everybody involved.
Yeah. If you hear someone say only 1 in a musician, I said it again, musilian.
That's a good word.
I'm just going to shorten it. Only 1 in a musilian makes it. So if you hear that quote or something like it, you know, just be like, hey, you know, that's not really true.
Not really.
Like,
absolutely.
It bugs me.
It does. And especially if you're that guy, like what if you're the guy, what if you are the drummer of Lady Gaga? It's like, you know what I mean? Should you be looked at like
well, the thing is, when you are making a living at music, nothing really, at least in my opinion, my experience, I should say, nothing really bugs you.
Right.
Like, people can talk shit, doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah,
like, I'm having awesome
I'm at
fun.
That point
like, it's
too.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm at that point too where I just know that I'm having fun when doing what I'm doing, and that's all I worry about. You don't worry about everything else.
So it doesn't really matter. Yep. But it is something I think
it's annoying to hear.
Talked about.
It's annoying to hear for sure when somebody says that. Yeah. Yeah, 1 in a million people.
Well, it's good because it's not just annoying, it's helpful and educational for people to get that out of their head so they don't feel like, oh, I can't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can.
Exactly.
But what is making it? We got to redefine the term. Yeah. And then we can make it.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think making it is? I mean, you can work towards being Lady Gaga. And I again keep bringing her up because it's consistent at this point.
Yeah, well, and everybody knows who she is. It's a good name to bring up.
So, but if that's your dream, like, work towards it.
Yeah.
Don't say, you know, you can't do it.
Exactly. And
but also realize there's other levels of success that you can and probably will hit.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And enough determination, man, will get you so far.
Yeah.
So
that's all I'll say on that today. You were talking about the documentary you saw on the 27 Club.
Yes.
What is the 27 Club for those listeners that may not know?
So for anybody listening who doesn't know what the 27 Club is, it is basically the weird coincidence that a lot of the most famous and most successful musicians of our time have died at a very specific age, 27.
Yeah.
And there are even like some around 28. There's some stuff that doesn't get.
Avicii was 28, I think.
And so was the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold. So there's some people just outside of it, but it is a very weird thing that this specific age group, especially when they hit a certain success level in music, all of a sudden starts having there's people they die.
Let's list some of the ones we know. Off the top of my head, I know we have Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix.
Yep, those are all in the.
There's more than that.
John Paul.
Recent.
Amy
Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse. Yep, she's the more modern example. But those 5, I think, were the main ones discussed in that documentary, where it's Amy Winehouse.
What is the documentary called?
Rolling Stones. The documentary was
John Paul Jones is bassist for Led Zeppelin.
Oh, sorry. Who am I thinking of? The guitar player for Rolling Stones. What's his name?
Ron Wood?
Yeah. No. He was the one that replaced him.
Oh, okay.
It's Paul, I think, right?
Brian Jones is another one. I'm pulling it up.
Brian Jones, probably it. I think that's it. I don't know why
I have a full
Brian Jones is what it is.
List here.
Not John Paul Jones.
If you want to go by the whole thing, I don't recognize several of these, but I'll go through them anyway.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Alexander Levy. Well, that's 1864.
Yeah. That's
he died in 1892.
I don't know about that one.
Come on.
Yeah, it's got all the way back, huh?
I'm gonna start with like the first one I know.
Okay.
Well, Brian Jones, we said that.
Yeah,
He
so that's
died in
Rolling
69.
Stones guitar player, and that is
Rolling
they
Stones
claim,
founder too.
Yeah, that's what they say. He is like the sole vision of Rolling Stones. Like he was like, if you look at the way Keith Richards dresses and Mick Jagger dresses and their persona and their
He's
attitude,
an iconic guy, and
they were
I
not
didn't.
like
I did not know that.
before Brian Jones. Brian Jones is where they got this this look and this feel and this vibe from.
Which is where Guns N' Roses
And
got it
it's
from, and
very
everyone
weird.
else.
Yeah, and in this documentary, they discuss it at length. It's very weird to watch Mick Jagger and Keith Richards change into Brian Jones while Brian Jones is dying from addiction and dying from, the
It says he died from drowning.
he did die from drowning. He was
Death by misadventure. That's the coroner's report.
Yeah, his girlfriend found him and he was in the pool. But it was because he was out, he was drunk. He was
Oh, it's
alcoholic,
always-
and he went out for a swim or something late at night or whatever, and
Yep.
didn't come back. Is basically what happened. So
That's sad because it's so
it's
preventable.
very sad because his life was in a downward spiral the whole time, and it just seems like somebody could have helped him, but nobody did, and which is a very scary, weird thing. But
Up next, we
So-
got some
Janis Joplin, Jimi
Jimi Hendrix,
Hendrix
Janis
were
Joplin.
some great ones.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison's the big one that we missed. Yeah, he's in the
Do we know
documentary as
Linda
well.
Jones?
Huh?
Linda Jones.
I do know Linda Jones.
Soul singer.
I don't think she was in the documentary, but
Leslie Harvey,
I'm not familiar with who that is.
guitarist for Stone the Crows.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna just name the ones that I know. How about
Yeah.
that? There's a lot here, though.
That's crazy that there's more.
Actually, most of them I don't know, but there's a lot of them. Kurt Cobain's the next one I know.
Yeah. And that was another weird one. There's a lot of
Pat, you know who that is?
controversy around the Kurt Cobain one.
Seriously, guys, there's over 100 names on this list. Amy Winehouse.
it's very interesting that there's a certain age that, and it seems like musicians are especially susceptible.
It is
to
mostly musicians.
So what is that? You know, like why is that? Is it
What did the documentary conclude, or is it just awareness?
I mean,
not that there's anything to
they
be
tried
aware
to
of,
come up with a
but
conclusion. They tried to, and I think,
don't think there
what
is one.
the main and the ending and the conclusion of it was like that fame is a hard thing to handle, and like
At a
especially
certain
the
age,
people
yeah.
who at a certain age, especially, and I think it culminates at that age. Like, but it's people who rise to fame really fast and then have lived a fairly normal life and fairly humble life before then. And then this fame thing happens, and then it really messes with them. And unless they're prepared for it, unless somebody's helping them, it's really hard to deal with. Amy Winehouse's issues seem to be really connected to her family and how that situation played out. And the fame only amplified it. The fame only made it harder for her to figure it out while everybody's watching. That's the problem. You know what I mean? So, but she had this family issues, and her parents broke up early, at a young age for her divorce, and that was like a big starter of it. A lot of things about it, like a lot of different ways people reached it, but for some reason 27 is the number. What is that?
I don't know.
Such a strange thing.
It is interesting. I hope
so check out that documentary on
someone
that.
listening to this did not know what that was, and
Yeah.
will
Check
now
out the
be
documentary on
fascinated.
Netflix because it's really eye-opening.
What is the documentary called again?
Yeah, that's a good question. We find that out.
But
real
while
quick.
you find that out, I was going to
The
say
27 Club should pull it up, I think, if you search that, but I'll double check just to get the title of it.
you told me, and I don't
I did
remember.
text you. Let me see. I'll pull up.
While you're pulling that up, I was going to say I hope a listener listens to this and who hasn't heard of it and becomes as fascinated by it as the rest of us. It's kind of a dark fascination, I suppose, but it is an interesting phenomena.
Something not to be ignored. I think there's something about it. It's been a long time coming. You know, like a lot of history over the years have shown that same age to.
Yeah, and the most recent one I saw, I didn't recognize the name, but it was January this year.
Who was it?
I didn't recognize the name.
Okay, so what it was like? Did you look him up at all, or you just?
No, I just saw that.
Oh, we were just looking at the thing. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a big
sorry,
list of
sorry,
all of them, yeah.
Damn it, I can't find it. I don't remember
TikTok.
what-
I wish I had the Jeopardy
all the
music,
Carolina Rebellion stuff, all the Guns N' Roses stuff that we talk about.
which we're about to get into in a second.
Yeah, we do need to talk about that.
Oh, well. Find it on Netflix.
Yeah,
Matt's clock's out.
yeah, I'm out. Sorry, guys.
So it's a Netflix documentary about the 27 Club. If you Google that, you'll find
I
it.
guarantee you'll find it.
Okay, so Guns N' Roses announced their box set. What did you think about, and this isn't a Guns N' Roses podcast, but I did want to talk about this. This kind of bleeds into the marketing talk and that we always talk about. What did you think about the whole GNR FM and the Destruction is Coming thing? And first, tell us, the listeners, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so when we first saw it, there was a lot of first they always keep it like mysterious kind of. They don't
They're a
want to tell you
mysterious
right away. They give you the
organization,
they give you the teaser and they're like
Right.
something's coming, right?
So the first teaser was all 5 original members' skulls,
Yes.
the drawings of
Yep.
them.
and then
Was on a billboard in I think London somewhere.
yeah, and we're thinking, me and you were texting about it back and forth, and we're thinking like maybe this is like finally they're gonna get all the
Yeah.
members to come out and do a tour, and
And
that'd
of
be
course
really,
that immediately went viral.
Right. And there was definitely articles on that speculating on that if that could happen because Steven
Oh.
Adler is out there doing his appetite.
Oh yeah,
for
Adler Appetite, yeah. Adler's Appetite. And on this billboard it says GNR.FM, like a website.
Yeah.
So you go to that website and all it says is it types it out like a GIF.
Yeah.
Destruction is coming.
Yeah.
That's it. No
Super
date.
mysterious,
nothing.
super ominous, and everybody's just wondering what's going on.
But we know it's Appetite for Destruction.
now we
related.
know. Yeah.
We also know that the Appetite for Destruction 30th anniversary was last year.
Right. So then we know it's not, the big anniversary thing.
We know it's something. Well, we know it's something related to the anniversary.
Right.
roughly.
Right. So
I guess it's a year late, but still.
yeah. So what it turns out they're going to remaster Appetite for
It's a
Destruction.
remaster with a lot of extra stuff, and there's a
Unreleased.
box set.
Yeah, unreleased content previously, and then
Yep.
they redid Shadow of Your Love, that's out now.
Well, they remastered and I think remixed it, yeah.
Right.
But it was from the Appetite Sessions. It just
Right.
didn't make it on the record.
Right, exactly. So, and that was a Hollywood Rose song,
I think
or
it
it was
a
a Guns song.
Was it? I thought it was all GNR.
No, it's a Hollywood Rose song
Okay,
because there's
cool.
definitely there's the old takes for that. So,
Nice.
I thought that was really interesting because it's one of my favorite songs. Actually, I've
Yeah.
always loved that
Yeah.
song, and I always thought it didn't get because of they were Hollywood Rose at the time, not Guns N' Roses. They hadn't had any success yet. The recording never really got to be
Right,
as
right.
good as it could have been. And so hearing it remixed and remastered is great. And it to me it sounds like maybe they took out other vocal takes that weren't present in the first demos that I have.
The demos were a different recording session. I
Yeah,
think.
so this is something that they went in the studio a long time ago and never released, apparently.
Right. It was done
Which
during
is-
the Appetite
'cause
session.
it sounds so good. It was?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, it was
Okay.
recorded. They just didn't make the album.
Okay, well, yeah, so really cool to hear that. Like,
There's also a lot of sessions from '86 where they went in. It seems like they might be pre-production sessions. I don't know.
Okay.
This comes out sometime in June 24th, I want to
Okay.
say, somewhere around there.
okay.
The full box set is $9.99.
Yeah, I know.
$1,000.
It's a lot
What do
of
you think
money
about
to
that?
drop.
Now, you might think, why would I drop that on a CD? Well, it's
It's not just
significantly
a CD.
more than a
It's
CD.
not just a CD, right?
There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm mostly
Vinyl.
interested in the music. So,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get it on Apple Music, so I'm not going to spend any money on it other than
Right.
that. But I'm not a big collector or
Right,
anything
it's a
like
great
that.
collector's opportunity. If you are
It
into
is.
collecting that kind of, there's some stuff in there that's really, really
I
cool.
heard everyone bitching about the price. $9.99. I'll never be able to afford that. Well, dumbass, scroll down. There's like 15 options.
There are lots of
the
options.
least of which is like just the price of an album. It's like $25 or something.
Yeah.
Like
And when you look at what's in that $9.99 package,
it's a
there are some
ridiculous
really
amount of stuff.
There are some really though, like almost, like just rare like things, like whatever it is, like
Would you say it's worth $9.99?
I would say so. I would say it's worth more than that. Probably in reality, if you price it all out individually, I think you're getting a good deal at $9.99.
Yeah, it's just not the package for everyone. That's the problem.
You have
that
to
people
want
are not
everything in it.
understanding. Right.
You have to want everything in it if you're going to spend
It's
$999.
for the serious collector.
Exactly.
Most people, there's the next package down is like $170 or
Yeah.
something. Like that's what you need to focus on, or down. Get whatever you want, but don't bitch about it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
let's talk about the songs that are not on there. Well,
Yeah.
really, just one in a million.
One, yeah.
So I mean, we don't need to talk about that song too much. But
Yeah, well, here's what I'll say about it is I've always loved the song as far as how the song is
Yeah.
structured and the way it's a great song, right? And I think Axl went a little too far with the language in it, and it offended too many people, and that's understandable. But I think that in my mind, like I've covered that song and I changed the lyrics just slightly in those spots to make it, acceptable for everybody. And I think they should have probably done something similar to that. I think they should have like reworked it.
I think
I know it's hard, and it's hard to tell an artist
it's
to
tough
rework
because
something,
we're
but-
going into censorship territory.
Sure, yeah.
I heard
But
someone express the
is
opinion.
Is
and
it
I-
not censored if you just leave it off the record too?
I think that was their choice.
Yeah.
And it's not censored because it's still available. You can go find it. If they had not put it on the record and deleted it from YouTube and all that
But on
stuff,
the
then
remastered is what I mean. Like, so it's almost like
yeah, fine. You don't have to remaster our song. You can do whatever you want.
Right, it's true.
Leaving it off is a band choice.
Yeah.
Why? We can speculate. We're
They don't
probably
stir up-
right.
They don't need to stir up more shit
right.
than they
It
already
would have been a
have.
shit storm.
Yeah, it would have totally been.
Yeah. And it already created
Yeah, back in the
leaving it off created like
well, back when it was
shit ton of
released
stories.
originally was already
Yeah.
an issue. And could you imagine
Well,
being in a band and you have this controversy surrounding the song? and
especially
then
with Slash, whose mom is black. And
exactly,
he's half black.
Exactly,
I
he's
don't know
half
if you guys
black.
knew that.
Exactly. So could you imagine going through all that? Back back when they originally released the song, and now they're going to rematch the song and they have to
No,
go through
no
it all
chance.
again. They're just like, you know what?
Not when they're on
leave
such
it
a
off.
such a high note right now with all the
Yes.
money they're making and all
Yeah,
the
if
touring they're
anything,
doing.
yeah.
That would affect their sales, I think, even a
Probably
little
would.
bit.
Probably, especially nowadays with the conversation being so
It's a different
prevalent.
world for
Yeah.
sure. I want to go back. I do actually want to talk about the song a little bit. I want to say that I was listening to a podcast and I heard someone say this, so it's not my original idea, but I think I do agree. An artist should be able to say and do whatever they want.
Absolutely. You can't
sh-
tell them they can't do something.
You can't say, now here's what you can do. I won't buy that. I won't
Right.
support that.
Exactly.
But you can't tell them not to do it
No.
because it's art.
Exactly.
They can do whatever they want. Now, I also want to not, maybe justify is the wrong word, but maybe reason a little bit with why I understand he wrote it the way he did.
Yes.
He was a young kid from Illinois, basically coming from like a farm town, as far as I could tell.
Exactly.
Indiana, sorry.
Yeah, Indiana, not
He
Illinois,
moved to
right.
Los Angeles. He had a lot of terrible interactions with gangsters. And I know one story, he said a Middle Eastern guy chased him out of a 7-Eleven with a knife. So that's where the immigrants line comes from.
Right.
That kind of stuff. So he had some ideas basically shoved on him really quickly about what was
Sure.
what. And he wrote that song from that perspective.
Right.
So that song is not, it is Axl, but it's a younger Axl
Sure.
singing about this is what it was like to move here at that time.
Exactly.
It's the same way Mark Twain uses strong language throughout his books because it's part of that time.
Yeah, what who is he referring to when he talks about you're one in a million? Is he referring to himself or is he referring to some girl? Is he referring to what's he referring to? You know what I mean? Like you think about the whole premise of that song
I'm
and he
not
talks
sure.
about like he talks about catching a bus to the city, maybe
It really,
Greyhound would be
it
my
really
way.
seems kind of disjunct, like two different parts.
It kind
you
of
know what I
does,
mean?
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because the 1 in a million part, the chorus seems
it
more like
sounds
it's about
different.
a girl.
It's different lyrically, like it's completely.
But maybe it's not though. Maybe it's something like we think
maybe
about
he's
it as a
singing to
girl.
himself. I don't know,
That's what I thought too. I thought maybe that's a possibility. So, not,
but I don't know.
yeah,
So.
nobody. Not that anybody
But
knows.
that's not what anyone gives a shit about in that song.
No.
they
No,
all
they
give a
just-
shit about the second verse.
the slurs.
But yeah, I mean that's it definitely got some attention. Maybe not the best attention, but
Yeah.
publicity.
Bad publicity is good. Is publicity. So
Yeah, cool. Last thing on the docket for today, we have a fan email to talk about.
oh, cool.
This comes from Stevie Stevens.
Nice.
I will paraphrase.
Okay. Is it a long one?
It's just a little long. He wants to hear us talk about like the meaning in music. That's actually the subject
Sure,
line, the meaning in music. Whether it's on an obvious level with lyrics or, the emotion that's portrayed through instrument or even down to the timbre. Nice, use the word timbre.
Nice.
I'm kind of reading and paraphrasing at the
I
same
hear
time.
you.
For his example is expressing an idea like psychedelic music using effects that sound like being on drugs.
Right.
He wants to hear about how music can express new ideas through metaphors and stories in a song. So really, we're just talking about the meaning of music on as many different levels as we want to talk about.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Good.
Your immediate thoughts?
That's an open-ended conversation. Obviously, we
is,
can get
yeah.
really far. But yeah, there's feeling is what it all comes down to in my mind. It's all about how something makes you feel. Like, you know how
Feeling
when
and
you-
emotion, that's all music
Yeah, you know how
is.
when you're having a bad day and like you can hear a song that can change like your whole mood. Like that
Right.
for me at least. That's like I don't know if everybody can have this. I actually have certain songs that I go to when I'm having a rough time or something
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like you know what I mean? I can connect with a piece of music and that all of a sudden brings
sure.
me right out of it. And so, you talk about like
I challenge anyone to listen to "Can't Stop the Feeling" by Justin Timberlake and not smile.
and not smile,
or
right?
like
Not
stop
having a
bobbing
good
your head.
feeling.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
That song is the best.
Exactly, and that's all that matters. Like when you talk about what the meaning of music is, that to me is all that matters. Is how it makes you feel. If it can, affect you in a way, that's
Okay.
all its job is to do. And there's not like it has to do anything. Like it doesn't have to reach everybody. It doesn't have to be everybody's favorite song. But if it reaches anybody and it hits them at that level that they're just like, oh yeah, like I feel, this makes me feel better, or
Right,
whatever, or I
right.
feel good, then that's all it's supposed to do. And everybody gets the choice of what they want to listen to. So
For sure. And there's so much nowadays.
yes,
That's something we've talked about in the past with the rise of the consumer
Yeah.
studio.
yep.
Anything can be produced and put out there now,
Yeah.
for better or for worse.
Yeah.
So
as far as the making music that sounds like you're on drugs, I think that's a really interesting thing. Like there's effects and there's certain things that just all of a sudden like
yeah, What would those effects be? What do you think? What comes to my mind immediately is a flanger.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking too, like that.
But a lot of chorus and a lot of reverb,
or anything that has like that big broad sound. I don't know how to put into words, but that wow. For some reason, that is associated with drugs, and I don't know if it's. And
then you could also have stuff like what was the effect I was just thinking of? Of course, reverbs and big,
of course, the deep
things
stuff.
like that.
Anything that makes sound deeper.
Yeah,
is a big thing.
Yeah. I was just thinking about an effect in particular.
How about Crowbot? Like when they do the that whipping sound that comes in.
Oh, fuzz! Big fuzz
is another one. Yeah,
stuff.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Also, but I don't think it's the effects so much as the choice in the notes and the choice in how fast you switch between notes.
It's like all of it.
That kind of stuff. Because a lot of the psychedelic stuff, it doesn't move as fast.
Right.
So you really get some time to process it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it lets the effects do the work too. Like it also lets the effects, like
they kind of
ring out,
tell the story. Yeah, the effects
edge,
tell the story,
is another good example of somebody who lets the effects
dotted
do the
eighth
talking.
delay all day. He essentially created that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like when you look at those iconic U2 songs that are just him hitting a note, and then all the effects do the next part of the riff, and then he hits another note, and it's amazing.
He is the master of taking extremely simple guitar parts and layering extremely advanced effects. And then stacking, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guitar parts to create this wall of sound that is extremely hard to replicate, but very, very simple to play.
Yeah.
You could play it correctly and be like, well, that's not fucking it. Right. That's not it at all.
Right. You have
but
to
you're
have
doing
all
it
the
right.
right effects.
You just have to have all the other
right.
stuff. That, Memory Man by Electro-Harmonix was his delay pedal of choice.
Yeah.
He had several of them across the stage. But I love analyzing the edges playing a lot.
Because it's more than just the playing itself that you see. It's so much more.
And that's what's fascinating. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, he's not really doing much. Well, he is. It's just going on in his head.
Exactly.
And he's preparing it, and then he's playing with prepared
What's
pieces.
the documentary? It Might Get Loud?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Really good one, yeah. If you guys want to know what we're talking about as far as the edge, check out It Might Get Loud.
Yep.
I believe it's on Netflix now.
Also, I don't know if it is, but also in It Might Get Loud, you see Jimmy Page play Ramble On.
Yeah.
And that is the only time I've ever seen it played correctly, obviously, because he's the one playing.
Yeah, he's the one.
But every tutorial shows it wrong. He's the one, but if you watch that video, you can see how to properly play it.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm sure if you've checked out some live stuff too, and you
you probably have to
figure it out. But
you probably have to dig. Yeah.
Huh.
This one is him just in a room with a camera on his guitar.
Yeah.
And he's he's not showing you how to play. He's just playing it.
Yeah.
But it's the best way to learn that song.
It is. Yeah. If you want to learn a song by anybody, learn it by the person who's made it up.
So meaning in music. Let's pick a song. Let's pick a random song. Okay. We were talking about Appetite. You want to pick one off that because we all know.
Sure.
You and I both know it deeply.
Yeah. How about Rocket Queen?
Rocket Queen came to my mind as well.
Yeah, because you know why that one came to my mind?
Why?
I could say because the ending when he changes it into a thank you basically to the girl that he's writing about. To me, that is like
all I wanted was for you to know that I care.
Exactly,
it's the best ending to any album ever.
And it's so good, like because the rest of the song is not about like it's about a lot of things. Like it's about a crazy kind of lifestyle and whatnot, but. The ending, it's like and I was like, I decided to write a thank you to the girl. Like I think I've seen an interview with Axl saying that before. It's very cool. So
I would like to start something on this podcast. If you, the listener, have a song that you would like us to take a stab at the meaning of, we can of course never guarantee it's correct.
Never, right?
But we can always provide our opinions on what we think.
We can pontificate all night long.
And that might be entertaining for some of you, and it might be entertaining for someone who actually knows the meaning.
Sure.
To have a good meaning when talking about
and it'd be good. It actually,
but it might be good for someone who knows it. Laugh really hard while they hear us. Not even get close.
Get it wrong. Yeah. It's hard because there's lots of metaphors and there's lots.
One thing I wanted to say, and this is the story of one of my favorite bands, Train. Their Drops of Jupiter, mega hit.
Yeah,
I think it came out like 2003, 4, something like that.
Great song.
You've heard the song.
Oh, I love it. I love that song.
Do you know what it's about, or would you like to take a stab? Because I actually know the story behind it, and I'd love to hear what you think.
I'll take a stab at it just because now that,
cool.
and I want to take a stab at it.
And then I can actually say, and I'm not saying I know because I know, I'm saying like I've seen Pat talk about it.
I'm gonna talk it out real quick in my head because I'm also thinking about what the lyrics are. So here it. So now that she's back from in the atmosphere, drops of Jupiter in her hair, she looks like rain, talks like
such a good song.
Yeah. So
oh my god.
So I think that song is about him. And as a musician, like you have to just already take that into account, like he's a musician, right? So he's making music and maybe he's leaving town or she's leaving town or two people are splitting apart,
Okay.
and then they're going to eventually join back up.
What about the chorus?
Okay,
Tell me, did you finally get the chance?
Did you the sun?
Yeah. Did you sail across the sun?
Yeah, that's it.
It's basically talking
when
about
she gets
space travel
back.
in very interesting
Yeah, so when
ways.
she gets back and he wants to just know like how it all went, maybe I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I guess it's always
Okay.
been my thoughts on how that song
Any
is.
final thoughts? Well, I'm gonna pull up the lyrics here while you talk.
I wonder if it's more about searching for something more, and then realizing it's actually it was never about that. It was maybe more.
Well,
about,
let me ask you this: the biggest question: who is she?
Yeah, what I mean. I
Now
would just
that
take a
she's back in the
guess.
atmosphere, she acts like summer and walks like rain.
Yeah, I would guess it's just some significant.
She
other.
listens
That's in
like
my
spring
mind.
and talks like June. I love the way Pat writes lyrics; they're so different and interesting.
Yes, I agree. I love that song.
She checks out Mozart.
So is it about a girl? You can at
It
least
is
tell me that.
about a girl.
It is a girl,
yeah.
so that's what I would assume. It's about
But-
some
but
significant other.
How is the girl in his life? Like, what is the?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it his sister, maybe, or is it his?
Well, it seems like a relationship song, right?
It does, yeah, but I don't
I'm
know.
trying to find
I wouldn't know
the
who
bridge.
when you allude to the fact that it's a girl, but who is it? I don't know.
It's about his mother.
Oh, really?
Yep,
That's
his
very
mother
interesting.
died, and he
Very
was very very close to her, and he wrote this song
Wow.
very soon after she died.
Wow, that's heavy.
And the album was struggling. This was their second or third album,
Uh-huh.
and this was the one that was gonna make it or break it for Train.
Yeah.
And they did not have a lead single. They were not super. They didn't feel like they had it, but it was time to be released.
Uh-huh.
And his mom died,
Wow.
and then he wrote this song.
And that was
And
the single.
it was the single. It was the name of the album. It was the name
What
of
a
the tour. It
powerful
was
song, man.
And if you go on YouTube, if you like Train, you need to do this. You can search like Train live concert. There's one from I think '99, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And Drops of Jupiter's in the set list, and I was like, oh, that must have been early on in the
Yeah.
song. It's in the middle, which was weird. They always close with it.
Yeah.
They're very very
Yeah.
close to it. I was like, why is Drops of Jupiter in the middle? So I clicked the time thing and got to the middle of it. And as he's introducing the song, he says, this is the first time we've ever played this one live. And you can go on YouTube and watch them play Drops of Jupiter for the first time ever live.
That's so cool.
Kind of a letdown, but it's really interesting.
Is it a
to see.
letdown? It's not the best take
It's
ever.
like too fast and kind of sloppy,
Yeah.
but
but it's exposed. Here it is. The first
And,
time they ever
yeah.
played it live. That's so cool.
also check out Train's live album. It's one of the best live albums I've ever heard. It's
Awesome. I think I've
phenomenal.
heard that before, actually. Yeah.
Especially the Drops of Jupiter. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, what a
I've
great
seen Train
song.
live twice, by the way, and both times I can only describe it as like a religious experience. Like it was, and it's not because I'm a super fan. It's because their music affects people in a way that I've not seen before.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You look around and there's thousands of people in the seats with you, and you look at them and you feel like this, like we're all together. Like
Yeah.
this is
That's a cool
and
feeling.
the music washes over you, and
Yeah.
it's like
It's a cool feeling.
It's
That-
an incredible
that's an
show.
art. That alone is an art as far as being able to capture people like that. I mean, that is something really special. And I mean, I think most people, when we're talking about this, know that song. It's an emotional song. It's a deep song. Like, you know that, whether or not you know what the lyrics are about right off the bat, you can feel that song. Like, that song is, and it's a masterpiece. It's an amazing
It is
song.
one of the.
Every time I hear it, it kind of, like, sometimes
Yeah.
I get chills. But you know,
Now,
it's like,
now check this out. This is the best part of that
so
song. and
yeah,
I
was
wish
gonna
I
ask
could
you if you know any
experience
of
it
the
again.
references directly relate to his mom and why.
I just closed it.
So is that what?
I don't. I mean, I think there's some, like she checks out Mozart while she does Taibo.
Right, that
kind of
has to be
stuff.
something personal. Or
Reminds me that there's room to grow. It's about kind of
Right.
She's always expanding her horizons, and it shows me to do the same.
Right.
I just closed the lyrics.
Being,
Let me pull it up
being a
again.
good model as a mother.
Role mother. Yep.
Yeah, role mother. That's
Role
now it
Mother,
makes it
the
worse
Wolf
together.
Mother tribute.
Role mother.
So, but my favorite part is thinking about the chorus. Did the wind sweep you off your feet? I can't talk. Did you finally get the chance to dance along with light of day, head back towards the Milky Way? He's obviously talking about heaven,
Right.
or what our idea of heaven is.
Right.
And tell me, did you sail across the sun? Did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights all faded and that heaven is overrated? Like,
That's
once
so
you
heavy.
know what the song is about, those
That's heavy.
lines hit you in a totally different way. And that's something, I just got shivers
Me
and
too. I
goosebumps just now.
literally just
But
did.
it's like, you need to, and you Matt, but you, the listener,
Yeah.
need to listen to the song again.
I do now.
If you
definitely.
didn't know what it was about,
Yeah,
you need to listen to it and it will blow your mind.
I will.
Because I like the song and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I found out what it was about, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to listen to it again. I wasn't even thinking about it, and I was just like, oh my
I
God,
know.
this is so different.
know. And that-
it's so much more powerful.
And how crazy is that you can listen to a song, and how many times had you probably heard that song?
I heard the song
before?
thousands of
Right,
times.
and
before.
and then you find out what it means, and then all of a sudden it hits
You're
you in a
walking through the
different
mall
way.
in Belk, and you
Yeah.
hear it in the thing. Like, Train's always on in Belk.
yeah,
I don't know why.
exactly.
They're always on in Belk.
Yeah.
Like,
And it just goes to show you that like a song that's so emotional and so powerful can be overlooked so easily. Like it's like how much do you feel like you overlook that song now? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
do. Like right now, personally, this is
Yeah.
me feeling these moments. You know, this moment.
Train, and Pat Monahan, the singer, is the one that writes most of the music, or most of the lyrics at
Yeah.
least. He's a masterclass in lyricism. He's a genius. He has such an interesting way of writing things that is so him. And Train's one of my favorite bands, and I've listened to them for so long. I pick up on the little tiny things he does throughout an album that'll be like, oh, that's a Pat thing. Like, he loves to say, for example, a lyric might be A to B and B to A. Like, he'll use the same word,
The rhyme scheme.
but he'll flip it in a different way.
Right.
Not even the rhyme scheme. I'm
Oh,
talking
you
about
mean like
actual
literally
words.
the words? Okay.
I can't think of the main example, but there's
but,
one of the famous ones.
I know what
but-
you mean though, and it's interesting how what people key in on their songwriting. Like when
Right.
when somebody writes a song, there are certain traits that people like songwriters will use and fall like into that rhythm or whatever, and then that's kind of becomes their signature thing. And I think that's so amazing, and it's usually very subtle. Like we were just
yeah.
talking about the A to B thing,
yeah.
B to A thing. That's a subtle thing that most people don't pick up on, but you being
And if you want me to
trained super fan,
give you even more shivers and emotions here,
oh, I don't know if I could take it.
on California 37, 2012, I remember when this album came out, there's a song called You Can Finally Meet My Mom. And you listen to it and it's like, and Ashton and I, my old roommate, we were huge Train fans when this album came out, and we were way up on the Drops of Jupiter thing, so we listened
Yeah.
to that one immediately.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to Drops of Jupiter.
No.
It's him singing to his wife,
Whoa.
talking about, I can't wait for you to meet my mom.
And did his mom?
And it's like freaking
I mean, did his
heartbreaking.
wife die?
No, his wife's alive,
Okay,
but
but-
she's obviously never met his mom.
Right.
So
Oh
it's
man.
like, and the whole song, I'll do some,
yeah, a little bit.
the lyrics are so good. I'm scrolling through them right now.
Yeah.
But he's talking. The chorus is him saying, I'm gonna be in heaven basically with all the people that have ever died.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna be spending time with, I'll read here, not Jimi Hendrix, Jesus, or the dude who played Sheriff in Blazing Saddles, not Chris Farley, Mr. Rogers. You can finally meet my mom.
Nice.
He's talking about when he
That's
goes
so
there, he's
cool.
not going to chill with any of the people
Shivers
that have
again.
died in
Shivers
history.
again.
He's
Thanks,
going to go to
Dallas.
his mom and hang out with her.
That's so cool.
And it's like, it's basically a sequel to Drops of Jupiter. It's not Drops of Jupiter. He's singing to his mom. This one he's singing to his wife.
Yeah. Well, man,
So,
I wish I have my own feelings about the religious thing and stuff like that. And it doesn't always have to be like that. You know, he might even be religious. Like he just literally likes the
Yeah,
thought
it's not.
of,
He's not talking about heaven per se. I've used the word. He's not really talking about heaven.
yeah. I don't
He's
think it
talking
necessarily-
about all the people that have died wherever they are. He's going there, and they're all going to hang out, and he's going to hang out with his mom. So
Exactly.
it's not a religious thing.
It's not. It's he uses.
He
the
literally
religion
says heaven is overrated.
because that's what people are going to relate to. They're going to
Right.
understand heaven as a place where everybody goes to die,
Right.
Or after they've died. And I think that's so interesting. It's like that.
Yeah, I do want to emphasize it's not religious in nature. Just I don't
Yeah,
want people
it's
to
just-
think it's religious and
exactly.
they don't check it out. It's not.
almost a metaphor.
It is. It's all it is. It's a genius metaphor.
Yeah.
And it's super got it. You got to
absolutely.
check those two out.
Absolutely.
Especially back to back.
Yeah.
They're on different albums.
I
but
didn't
you
know
can
there were
find them.
sequels. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's like a loose sequel, but it's
But
related.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's the same idea, same concept, and he brings his mom back up.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I would also say listen to All Train all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
it
they're
is-
great. They're amazing.
From the
Amazing
first album,
band.
and a lot of people who loved him in the beginning. So the way Train worked is they did a bunch of albums, had a hiatus, and then came back. When they came back, that was Hey Soul Sister on.
Okay.
So Drops of Jupiter was in the first part of Train.
Right.
And they took a big break because they were burnt out. They were having troubles. They couldn't keep the band together. And then 3 of them got back together and did
Okay.
Save Me San Francisco, which is Hey Soul Sister,
Yeah.
which was huge, bigger than Drops of Jupiter even.
That's crazy because
And,
I think as soon as I think of Train, I think it drops to Jupiter.
Yeah, it would
And
have been
maybe
a
that's
time
because
period
that's the
thing.
early
and
stuff.
a radio thing. You weren't
Right.
You and I weren't listening to the radio stations that Hey Soul Sister was coming on.
Right.
But even those, so what happens is there's kind of two schools of Train fans. There's the Train fans that followed him in the beginning before the hiatus, and they don't really like the new stuff because it's different. It's very poppy.
Yeah.
It's one thing I like about Train. They've evolved.
Right.
Their
Well,
first album is like acoustic soul rock, and their latest album is like straight up radio pop.
Yeah.
And every album is everything in between.
Yeah.
And
So they've grown and
they
they're
really are not
constantly
afraid to
changing,
take risks
yeah.
and do stuff.
Yeah, that's a good thing because I think a lot of artists they fall into the trap of being stagnant. They just like, this works, let's keep doing this. But man, it takes balls to go out and just do something
they change
different.
it and they just change. They do good stuff and they're doing good. Well, that does it for episode 14.
Exciting day.
I
Love
know.
having Harry Myrie here today. That was
Harry
awesome.
Myrie, man, amazing stuff.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it. Let's sign off. Let's leave on a high note.
Yeah,
Check out
another good
Train.
talk show.
Check out everything we talked about. Listen to music. Play it loud. Play it good. Whatever.
Keep loving it.
Pick up an instrument.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't play an instrument right now and you feel
What is that thing? What is that
enthusiastic.
thing you were like? I wish I played blank. Play it. Pick it up.
go for it.
Yeah.
Nothing's stopping
Start
you.
with piano if you can't pick anything out.
Because it's just awesome.
It's also the easiest to get access to.
Yeah.
You can play it on your
is.
phone.
Keyboard. You
You
can
can
get
play
it.
it
You
anywhere.
can get it on your phone, right?
iPad, whatever. Anyway,
Anyways.
closing thoughts. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much. Episode 14 signing off. Dallas Dwight and
See ya. Matt Tolley.
peace. Hey guys! First of all, thank you so much for listening. If you could please take a quick moment to subscribe on iTunes and leave a rating and review. Your feedback seriously is really important and it helps us keep the show alive.
Check out musicianstalkshow.com to sign up for our mailing list. If you do, we're going to send you our main theme song and a few other surprises. Plus, you'll always be the first to know what episodes are coming up.
If you want to help support the show so we can keep putting out the highest quality content possible, please follow the Support the Show link at our website and consider donating to our Patreon page.
Lastly, if you have an idea for a guest or a question you want to discuss, contact us through any of the contact forms on our website, and we'll do everything we can to make it happen.
Whew, all right, that was a lot, but we got through it. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you soon.